Hello, hello, hello. Welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am seated next to my husband, Matt.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are ready to go. Spring has sprung.
I can hear it in your voice.
I know. So depending on what time of year you're catching this episode, it is springtime in Kansas City for us, which means it's blooming one day and snowing the next. And my voice does this. So if you hear me crunching on a lozenge, just go with it. It only lasts about a week and then it turns to summer and then we're good. Kansas is fun.
You'll be great. You'll be fine. So today we have a great topic. The topic is commitment. And when you hear commitment, you may think that means you either do something or you don't do something. But commitment is actually it's multidimensional. And anyone that is trying to decide something right now, or you seem to not be able to get something done, or you're trying to go to the next level, one of these dimensions in this commitment is probably where you're getting stuck. And we're going to go through the dimensions today. You know, if you're listening, you're a high performer, and you're high performer in a lot of different verticals. So you make a lot of different decisions. And when we go through this today, a light bulb is going to pop. And you're going to be ready to go in some of those areas that are holding you back, or you're not really sure where you should go. This is the very thing that held me and Jen back for so long. It stole time from us. It stole money from us. It stole happiness from us. And for those of you that are listening, I know this has stole time and money and happiness and speed from you as well. It's good to point out, though, that we're not talking about commitment to a fitness program. We're not talking about commitment to a business, commitment to a relationship, commitment to buying something, commitment to selling something. We're talking about commitment to all of it, everything. The decisions you make on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis. This commitment thing is key. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. And like you said, it's multidimensional, right? There's so many different facets and so many different lenses that you can look through. But for us, we're going to do this today. For us, once we stripped everything out, there was 3 dimensions. And whether you're at the gym right now, whether you're in your car, whether you're listening to us walking the dog, I want you to be able to take some notes, because we're going to share some things that hopefully will help create some speed with your world, but also some clarity. I really want to create clarity with this podcast. And when we figured out these 3 dimensions, it was lights out, just a complete hockey stick trajectory. And anyone that's watched our journey over the last 2 years knows when that pivotal moment happened, because it was just like we just put rocket boosters on and we were fast, high driving movers before that. But it was just like, whoa, what are you guys doing? And so the first dimension, oh man, this lozenge is getting me. The first dimension is you have to commit one way or another. You either are in or you're not. You do or you don't. What is it? Try or try not, or do or do not. There is no try. Yoda said that. You're either in or out. There's no in success. And we've seen this part of commitment play out so many times in our lives. And I'm sure that if you're listening or if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm sure that you've had these moments too. Of the 3 dimensions, this is the one that most people know about. This is the one that's most prevalent. This is the first step. This is where we either get you or lose you. You're either in or you're out. But it's probably the biggest one. So I want to sit on this one and I want to talk it a little bit. But Matt, I want you to add your take on this.
Well, like you said, it's you're either in or you're out, and I think we need to get to, and we will get to an area of how you figure out whether you're in or you're out. But as you said, when you have this part of the dimension down, you can move with speed. When you don't have it down, there's a lot of pitfalls that can happen. And a great example is I have this friend, and she came to me a couple years ago, and she wanted, I wouldn't say she wanted investing advice, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not the guy to come to for investing. If you want investing or anything like that, that's not me. Now, I can connect you with someone, but she kind of came just looking for some clarity, because she wanted to invest in crypto. And she had, I think she had a $250,000 investment that she wanted to put into crypto, which is a lot of money. And her husband didn't want her to do it. And they finally came to terms, and he said, okay, I'm okay if you do this, but we have one rule. I want you to put it in, and I want it to go in for no longer than 12 months. So I really prefer 6 months, but anywhere between that 6 to 12 months. But at the end of the year, no matter where it's at, we got to pull it back out, because we need that money. We don't want to risk it. And that was what they agreed upon. So what I did was I put her in touch. Again, she was calling just kind of for some clarity, but we do have some friends in that industry. So put her in touch with a friend who has a crypto fund, and went from there. Well, what she did was she didn't commit one way or another. She kind of went back and forth. She didn't know if this is the right thing, because her spouse had kind of spooked her, probably rightfully so, but he'd spooked her in this situation where she wasn't sure what she wanted to do. So again, she hem-hawed around, and finally she got the guts up to say, I'm doing this. And she invested in the fund. She waited just long enough, because guess what happened? The bottom dropped out a month after she invested in it. If she would have went and done the plan that she'd originally had in her plan of putting it in there that day or that week or that month and let it sit for 6 to 12 months, she would have been great. She had a plan. She didn't commit, and it ended up costing her financially.
I love that example. I love that example, but I also, you can relate to it in the physical sense as well. I've had a client come to me who was working with another coach for, probably 2 years, and seeing zero results, but just working that specific program over and over and over. And within a month, actually within a week, she messaged me, and she's like, oh my God, why didn't I start with you sooner? And she had let her spouse talk her out of it. And she was thinking about joining even a year prior, like leaving this one coach because she wasn't seeing the results she wanted, and jumping on board. And I said, take your time. Your time is your time. Whenever the time is right, I'm going to be here. But she let her spouse talk her out of it. And within a month, she was like, I cannot believe how much time I wasted when my gut said I should have just gone with you in the first place. Now, after a month, her spouse is totally on board. He's like, I am so sorry I got in your way. I'm like, that's fine. It happens all the time. But it was one of those, like, she let someone else talk her out of her own timeline. She had decided on the timeline. And just that doubt caused her to waffle.
So I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here. Guys, if you're listening right now, when your wife comes to you and wants to get in shape, shut the fuck up and say yes. I mean, I hate to be so blunt with this, but I see this so
You're gonna
much.
get some sex.
Not so much with the guys. I don't know why. Normally the guys, when they come in, they're ready to go, and they're ready to commit fast. But when we see a lot of the females come in, they've got to go talk to their spouse, and their spouse poo-poos on it. So this is my advice to you right now. Just let them do what they want to do. It's going to be better off in the end.
And ladies, fucking commit.
Sorry, a little tangent. But what we've learned, though, is people who are successful, they usually commit really fast to whatever it is. Not just the fitness program, the business, the crypto, whatever it is. If they're successful, they're committing very fast. The reason is they get to reap those rewards much sooner. Just as Jen just mentioned in her fitness example, this person waited a year and then committed, and then all of a sudden within a week or two, she's starting to see results she hadn't seen forever. So they commit quickly. They also do this so they can get better sooner. For us, we commit to business coaches very quickly because we want to get better really quick. And there's a host of other reasons, but I typically see people who are successful commit quickly to whatever they're going to do, which is why this first dimension of commitment is so important to success in whatever vertical you're going after.
Yeah, here's the kicker. So, and how do you know to commit to something or not?
This is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. And your friend and the client I mentioned, they're both very smart. They're both very successful. They just weren't looking where they should.
Yep.
And so here's the first key to the dimension of commitment. Do you want it, or will it help you get to where you want to go? So directionally speaking, like, is it in the clear path of where you want to be, or is it where you want to be? This is where your goals come in, and especially your long-term goals. You put it through that filter, and if you know truly where you are going, not just in 6, 9, 12 months, if you know where you are going, you will be able to commit fast, and you get to reap the rewards. But you need to know what you want and where you want to go. Now, here's a piece. So many people judge off of what it will cost. And in terms of an investment in that, where do you want to go? Who can get you there faster? Cost should not be the first thing that you ask. What will it cost you not to sign up right now? What will it cost you, time or energy, other than money? Like, cost should not be the first thing that you ask. Because if you're only worried about what something will cost, you will always be missing out on what you want. And, just to liken it to things that we always talk about, cars, right? If you said this certain car is expensive, like, oh yeah, but Jen, that's really expensive. I'd say compared to what? Compared to a private jet? Maybe. Maybe not. Compared to a Honda Civic? Maybe. Compared to what? What do you want? Does it fit into where you want to be? Then look at the cost.
You bring this up, and I just thought of something else. This isn't a tangent, but it will add into what you just said.
I like tangents.
So Jen and I've talked about our plan. Through one of our coaches, we established, a 90-year plan, and then it's turned into a 1,000-year plan. And it involves a lot of stuff. And we had an opportunity. This is a good example of how, when that commitment comes up, how you can make that decision. I think this will clear things up a little bit for people. So we have this plan of where we want to go in life. And I'm sure a lot of you have those plans as well. Ours is very crystal clear. And we had an opportunity about a year ago to expand our gym, one of our gyms. And we normally, prior to understanding this commitment and the dimensions of commitment, we would have hem-hawed around for quite a while and ran all the numbers and spent a lot of time, which you should do when you're making a commitment. But we would just, paralysis by analysis, what we would have done. And then we would have eventually done it. That's kind of that. I know that's what would have happened. But in this case, when the opportunity came to us, we didn't really even look at the numbers. We looked at it and said, is this in our plan? Does this get us to where, I think you said, where I want to be? Does this get us to where I want to be? It doesn't. Because in our plan, we have no plan to expand the size of our gyms. That's just not in our 90-year plan. Now, is in the plan to keep growing them and keep providing better services and keep the revenue coming in and doing? Yes. But to expand them takes on a whole new life. That's more debt. That's more commitment. That's more people. That's more everything. And that just didn't get us to where we wanted to be. In our 90-year plan, it's about expanding our online coaching company and various other things as well, but not in the gym business. Would it have worked out? Absolutely. But again, it's not in our plan. So we didn't move forward. And since we didn't move forward, we have more time to commit to the things that we want to be. That's just an example of how that's a big freaking decision that over the first 14 years of our brick and mortar business, we would have made a different decision. But because we had our plan and what we wanted, we were able to make that decision quickly. And we didn't waste time back and forth. Should we do this? Shouldn't we do it? It was a quick decision. We moved on and we're okay with it. We're great with it.
I loved that decision.
Yeah.
It saved us so much time, honestly.
Yeah, because the other point of that when you bring up time is would it have all worked out? Absolutely. We've always done good in that space. But the time and energy that it would have put into there it would have pulled us away from our family. It would have pulled us away from the online company. It would have pulled us away from the things that we truly want to do. Again, would it have worked out? Yes. But it wouldn't have got us to where we want to go long term.
Think about it like a road trip.
It would have been a long pit stop.
Exactly. Like you can get off the interstate if you want. And if you spend the day at Wally World and hem-haw around at all the different gas stations and let's go look at the world's largest ball of twine. Yeah. Will you still get to your destination? Absolutely. It may take you a little bit longer.
That's a great analogy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Let's jump into the second dimension, which is a quick, easy one.
You don't want to talk about Wally World anymore.
I think we got that first dimension down.
Yeah, absolutely. So the second dimension that we see, if I have paid the entry fee, then it should just be mine. Like, well, I paid, I deserve this now. I paid the money for this program. I should know the things. And we did this in business. I will be the first to admit. We had successful gyms. Well, we have successful gyms. We then wrote a gigantic check to open multiple yoga studios. It was almost as if, well, we paid the fee. We should already know that it's going to be a success. Side note, it was not a success. But in fitness, it's the same thing. Once you've paid for that coach, that's just the first step. That's the entry fee. Now you have to do the work. Now you have to learn the things and apply the things consistently. Now, I don't get it a ton. In fact, it's very rare when this happens, but this is a very honest conversation that I have to have with clients along the way when a client feels that way. I've paid for your program. Why am I not seeing the results? You have to understand that that's just your entry fee. You've still got to do the things and show up daily. And it's going to take as long as it's going to take until you learn that lesson and apply it.
Yeah. This leads right into that third dimension. So again, Jen said there were 3 dimensions. This is the third one. That first dimension that we talked about, either you do or you don't do, that's a big one that everyone can associate with and everyone understands. This third dimension, I would argue, is probably as big, but most people don't realize this part of the decision-making process. They make the decision, they pay the entry fee, and they think it's kind of done, the commitment part. But this is the part of the equation that finishes it all off. It's basically a mathematical equation, part 1, part 2, and part 3. And this is the big part, the part 3. If you commit towards something and you pay for it, it doesn't stop there. It's what Jim was just saying. You go all in or you don't. It's not 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. Now, we have so many examples in business, in our relationship that we could talk about, but I want to use the fitness example to really drive home what this means, because the fitness example is so easy to explain and so easy to understand. When you make the decision to get started, you make it quick. And then once you do that, you do the energy exchange, the payment, whatever that is. If you're with a coach or you're at a gym or whatever that is, you made the decision and now you paid to do that. Then it's time to go all in. For some fitness companies, it's okay to put in 50% effort to rent the treadmill or to kind of do the nutrition plan or to kind of do that. But we aren't that way at the Phoenix Method. We are here for results. We are here for excellence.
I'm going to interrupt. I'd like to replace that word excellence with mastery, because I feel like mastery implies a level of coachability and hell-bent consistency that is required for that level of excellence.
That's perfect. I love that.
Thanks.
I don't even know where to go from there.
No, you should keep going.
That's a great point. I mean, mastery and excellence doesn't mean 100% of the time.
No.
And that is what is unique about our program is we do something that you can make it for the rest of your life, but you're going to have to work on some different things. It's more than 50%. It's not renting a treadmill. It's not checking boxes, but it's not 100% of the time. It is mastery of all the basics. I love that. I guess the next example, continuing on that, what I would say is, if you come to us and you say, I want a 6-pack, because that's what I get from a lot of guys. Once we've talked a little while, they understand that, and that's really what they want. That third dimension is actually doing the steps, which means you're going to have to track your food. You're just going to have to. That's how we get there. You're going to have to do 3 to 4 workouts a week for an hour. The big part didn't just hit on. You're going to have to be coachable. You're going to have to make the adjustments that we say you need to make, because this is our expertise, not the stock market, not the crypto. This is our expertise. So you have to make those adjustments. You got to go all in on what you're being taught. You're also going to have to make some adjustments with the mindset. That is the big key that we've got to work on. For us, though, I would say, I just use that as a fitness example. And I would tell you, generally, our clients are really good because of the way we structure things and the way we attract clients. But we do have a lot of friends in the fitness industry that have a similar business that run into this all the time. Their clients just don't listen. And they're banging their head against the wall. So I want to provide another example that doesn't really fit our clientele for what we bring on the fitness side, but I think it's very good that you'll understand it. So let's look at it from the business side. As we've said, we have very, very successful brick and mortar businesses, and our online company is growing. It's pretty much outpacing those gyms, but we still have coaches. We still hire training. We still go to trainings. We do all that. Why? Why do we do that if we're already having some success in those areas?
I know the answer.
Because their business is better than ours. They've already hit that $2 million mark or more in each one of their companies. That's why we do that. And when they tell us to do something, again, this is about the third dimension, all in. When they tell us to do something, we take notes. We don't question their way. Well, I've done it this way before in my gyms in the last 14 years and it's been successful. Well, have you hit fucking 2 million? No, then do it my way. That's kind of the way I look at it. Well, my friend has done it this way and they've got this great way of driving in traffic and doing all these things. Then why did you hire him? Why did you hire the coach? So that's kind of the business example. So for all of you business people out there that go out and hire coaches, like Jen and I do, make sure you're not skipping this third dimension where you aren't all in on what that program is and what they're doing. When we understood these 3 dimensions, it really changed how we made decisions and how we operated. We can operate with a lot more speed because we know when to commit and when not to commit. We know that as soon as we write that check or wire that money, that's just the beginning. And then we knew we went all in on whatever that coach or that program or that training was because we paid for it. And we knew that person had expertise. And that third dimension is really what is really the starting block.
Yeah. I think, pardon me. I think this relates back to what you said about smart and successful people. And I want to add some layers onto that. But they know what they want, and they make decisions to get it. But to recap, the first part of that commitment is knowing what you want and making that decision so fast so that you can move forward with speed. Are you in or are you out? Yes or no? Simple. The second is once you say yes, you can't just expect a result. There's going to be some change and growth that needs to occur before you can get to that level. And the third is you have to go all in. Be coachable. Be consistent. Be quiet.
Master the basics.
Master the basics. And if you find yourself the smartest person in the room, you need to find a bigger room. I want to add that to the third. But pay attention here. It's very simple. Know what you want. Don't let anything get in the way of it. Be crystal clear on that road trip. Don't let money, spouse objections, work, time, anything. Now, keep your North Star, but nothing else gets in the way of this. You have one life to live. Go out and get what you deserve.
I love it. Let's wrap there.